Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, May 6th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about the tool of charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, before I get to the watch list, I first want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering. So if you enjoy what you see and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to help build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. With that being said, if you already have something on your schedule this evening, or who knows, maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you've missed the event, go ahead, drop me an email at the address you see there on the screen, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the recording after everything is completed. So like I said, if you already have something on your schedule, or if you just flat out missed it, go ahead, send me an email, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the recording. A couple of quick clarification points. First off, the market is still open for a little bit of time, so that price you see there will still be changing around, and also the candlestick will also be moving around as I talk. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame. So for you beginners out there, what that means is that each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one here, UVXY, which is actually an ETF that allows you to make money if the overall markets are going down. And if you're not familiar, or if you're not aware of today's action, it went down quite a bit, and that is why UVXY had a huge move. So this is really just based on the fact that if you think we're right on the edge of a potential even bigger move down in the markets, which personally, I think that's a very reasonable thought to have right now. Of course, there are no guarantees, but I would not call you crazy if you're thinking it felt like today was the brink of another move to the downside. Then UVXY is one of those ticker symbols out there that you can use to take advantage of that situation. And the next big breakout that a lot of people will be watching, and that's going to be very, very interesting, right up there at $19.85. So keep an eye on that from an overall resistance standpoint. In fact, if I squeeze down the chart, you can see that that would put it up at levels that have not been seen for several weeks. So that's going to be that main overall area of resistance. If you do like to play pullbacks, then a potential pullback here to keep an eye on would be down there around $17.15. And then down there at, let's see, what is that? $16. Is that? Yeah. 17, basically 17.15 and 16.15, so that makes it a little easier to remember. But overall, like I said, the main driving reason that this is on the watch list is, like I said, if you are of the opinion that the markets are right on, the brink of completely making another move to the downside, this is going to be a ticker symbol that allows you to make money from that. Next one, BTTX, and one of the few overall green stocks on the day. In fact, got a breakout of this pattern that I talked about previously. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that line out and actually extend this line out here at 225. That was the key breakout point, and then this update comes from a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So moving forward, $2.25, the newest area of support if there is some sort of deeper pullback. I realize that the price has pulled back quite a bit from here, but I mean, think about it. Even if it were to go down there and then start to go sideways, what would you still have emphasis here from the overall perspective? You'd still have a set of lows there. You'd have lows there, lows there, lows there. If you envision each one of those as stair steps, you would still have overall stair steps making progress in the upwards direction. So even with the bigger pullback, the overall trend still has plenty of opportunity to remain bullish. Now, if you're a day trader and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yeah, from that perspective, the chart would look really, really bad. But I'm making these comments again, assuming that you care about the big picture point of view. In any sort of attempted move back to the upside, key level of resistance going to be right up there around $3.20, and maybe potential a stumbling block right there around that $3 mark. So keep an eye on those couple of areas if there is any sort of attempted move back to the upside. Next one, AMC, and want to get this one updated as it made a pretty significant move, not today because it was red or anything, but because it actually broke down below what had apparently been a good solid sideways channel. So that's where our first update comes into play. Because that level of support was broken and closed below, you would assume it would start to act as resistance, and that is exactly what's going on right now. Now, to be fair, this last 30 minutes as I talk, and this is why I like to do these when the market's still open for a little bit of time, because sometimes we can capture some, interesting movement like this. But as I talk, last 30 minutes, the price is bouncing up, but when you know it, surprise, surprise, right where the price is having some problem at that red line there at $14.70. So $14.70 will be that near-term level of resistance headed into Friday. If the price can push up through there, next key level of resistance is going to be that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, currently valued right around that $15 mark. But yeah, from an overall charting standpoint, very bearish day today because it broke to the downside of that channel. And now you have a potential, well, I guess I didn't need to go back that far. But next, potential area of support to watch moving forward going to be right down there at $14.15. Next one, CYN. And what I like about this one the most is a very well-defined level with that trend line right there. So let me be very clear. I'm not trying to imply that this is a special skill or that this is some sort of great secret discovery here. I assure you a lot of people have drawn that trend line right there. And I make that comment because when a lot of people are watching the same levels, wondering the same things, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. So while there are no guarantees, I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that if the price can recover back up to that area and then get a push up through that level, no guarantees, but it's valid. It's plausible to think that that break could create quite a bit of upwards buying pressure. So keep an eye on that. As you know, we'll call it the one self-fulfilling prophecy area. The other would be down here. Let me squeeze things out at this pink line, which on my chart denotes the very famous, very well-known 200 period moving average. Now, I realize that's quite a bit a ways away, but in the event the price does pull back to here, again, no guarantees, but is it valid? Is it rational to think that the price could potentially produce some sort of bounce from that area? Yeah, it is. So keep an eye on these couple levels, but in my opinion, at least the most interesting dynamic is can the price get back up there and push up through it? We'll see what happens on Friday. Next one, HYMC, which was essentially a gap and trap today, meaning the price gapped. It closed right there on Wednesday, opened up there, hence the gap up. Some poor souls were buying right there, and then down it went basically the rest of the day. So yeah, it's a pretty ugly looking chart, but there can be opportunity in ugly. So if you're somebody that has risk management in place, is going to honor stop losses, and you can sometimes structure yourself some very beneficial risk versus reward, trade plans in these sort of, general circumstances. So if this pullback does continue, the level here that I'm very curious about, right down there at $1.48. Again, and I'll probably repeat this many more times, but there are no guarantees. But is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price goes down to that area, form a resistance, find support, and then bounces? Yeah, that is a plausible thought process to have. And again, assuming you can, be disciplined and honor risk, then you could, structure yourself a very worthwhile risk-reward plan down around that level. Or if you're looking to potentially play more of a, breakout to the upside all of a sudden, right there at $1.70 presents another interesting, potential opportunity there. But overall, interesting day. Yes, it's definitely ugly. However, it's not like the chart is completely destroyed, so we'll see what Friday brings. Next one, NIO, and a brutal day. Again, not necessarily because it was a red day, but because from a technical perspective, the price broke down below what had been a very solid level of support, which when all the other times it was, tested, generally speaking, it did a good job of holding strong, but not today. It gapped down, tested it, and then just kept on rolling lower and lower and lower. So a very rough day here, and that's, again, where the first update comes about based on, like I said, when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So if there is any sort of attempted bounce back to the upside, that first key level, so again, if the price can bounce, big question, can the price now get back above $16.50? If I zoom in, you'll be able to see it a little bit easier here. But yeah, last 30 minutes here, good, respectable green candle, but within the general scope of things, still a whole lot of work that needs to be done. So like I said, if this green candle can build into something more, 16.15 remains that key level of resistance. In the event the price pulls back again some more, the next key level of support going to be right here at that gap. Oh, that's basically right where it bounced today at that gap close location at 15. If 15 is tested and does not hold, next key level after that, down there around the $14 mark. So that makes it easy. So 15 and then 14, next couple of key levels of support. And again, if the price does try to bounce right up there around 16.15. Next one here, MULN. And I really went back and forth that I want to put this one on the watch list. And I'm still indifferent because what has me wondering is, okay, great move here, really came to life. But then all of a sudden this essentially dropped it right back inside of this range where it had already been. So in other words, great move right back to basically where it was. Now, what has me, wondering is, but this was still good volume. So, I mean, is this some sort of leading indicator that this thing maybe gives it another go? And maybe not. Maybe this was just essentially a 30-minute surge and everything's going to go right back into being choppy down around here. But that's the whole idea of a watch list, is you find interesting situations, you find unique situations, and then you watch them. You don't automatically go and buy them or do anything. You just watch them, hence a watch list. So like I said, maybe this thing does nothing at all and it just starts to chop sideways. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean you're ever going to make a trade on it. But like I said, it did still catch my attention in the sense of just how fast it moved. And maybe that was, like I said, just a one-day pop. But if you like to play this price range and you like to, kind of watch these potentially unique situations, I'd say get this one on your watch list. Next one, AMD. And all things considered, this one hung up pretty good, I would say, on the day. Like I said, it wasn't a great day, but by no means was it a catastrophe like some of these stocks out there. So I'm actually very, very curious what's going to happen with this one moving into Friday, because AMD, I think I'll go ahead and call it a cult stock. It is a very, very popular stock, and sometimes people are looking to buy just no matter what. And the level here that I think a lot of people will be watching, or at least myself, is that trend line right there. Once again, as I'll say, and as I've said, no guarantees, but is it plausible? Is it rational to think that if the price gets up that level and then pushes through it, that break right there could create another nice little surge, maybe even bringing it up to that $100 mark? Yeah, I think that's, got some possibility. But of course, as always, this thing could continue to drift downwards. If you like to play more of the pullbacks, then an interesting potential pullback point right there at that 200 period moving average, which right now valued at the $91 mark. But overall, like I said, all things considered, AMD, I think, held up pretty well today. So is this some sort of leading indicator where even if the markets have a just mediocre day on Friday, would that be enough to, get this thing moving back to the upwards direction? We'll see what happens. Next one here, AAPL Apple. And main reason for this one, I just want to kind of give a little bit of context. So you can see pretty clear overall downtrend here. But if it comes down a bit more, thought maybe there's going to be a chance today here at 153.50. But for those of you that like to play double bottom patterns, that you could potentially get a double bottom here. Price comes down here and turns around. Keyword being potentially. No guarantees, so you're going to want to make sure you have stop loss and all of that good stuff in place. But if you do like to play double bottoms, then 153.50 seems like an interesting level to keep an eye on. If this does continue on up, then the first very important and very key level of resistance, that purple line right there, the 50 period moving average valued at 158.75, and the next key level after that will be 162.50, which is that pink line right there, the 200 period moving average. Again, that assumes that this bounce continues, and like a lot of these stocks out there that you saw last 30 minutes, we represented by that candle, good and green, good solid volume bar. So it's just a question of, does that carry into Friday? We'll see what happens. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, always a popular one. For me at least, I like to try to trade it options on it, and I know a lot of other people do. And the first level here that I make no claims about, again, trying to impress you or that this is a great discovery, so many people are going to be watching $860. I mean, check this level out. Support, support, support. And then once again today, surprise, surprise, support. Does that mean it'll continue to act as support? Absolutely not. But is it valid? Is it rational to think that it could go down there and bounce again? Sure. Is it also valid to think that if the price breaks down through there, that could create a flood of downwards momentum? Yeah, that is an absolutely valid thought process to have. So at the at the core, 860 is not some sort of random area that makes no sense to be talking about. There is a big track record here. There's a lot of people that are going to be watching that level. So 860, like I said, I can't speak for the entire world, but I think a lot of people are going to be wondering and waiting to see what happens at 860 if it does get tested. And then if the price bounces, that main area of resistance initially going to be right up there, that purple line, which right now valued at $896, but I'm just going to call it $900. So if there is any sort of, bigger type bounces, $900 is going to be that first key level. And the next key overarching level, pink line, 200 period moving average, and right there. That's why it's famous. Check that out. That's right where it got rejected from on Wednesday, and then today was, the big, push down off of that level. But, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. Let's just first see if the price can even get up through the 50 period moving average before you start talking too much about that 200 period moving average. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can be used to help build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free class. And also, like I said, if you already have something on your schedule this evening or you're watching this Friday morning and you've missed it, please, by all means, send me an email, clay@claytrader.com. And I'd be happy to send you a link to the recording after it's all completed. But remember, it is live, so the events first got to happen, and then I got to get it uploaded before I can send you anything. But like I said, hopefully I'll see you there, though, live. If not, go ahead and drop me an email. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to create these videos, then please help me out by hitting that like button and leaving a simple comment. Say hi, say thanks, give me a smiley face, tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But hitting the like button and leaving a simple comment really go a long way in communicating to me that you enjoy. And as long as I know people are enjoying these videos, then I will continue to put in the time and effort required, to create this sort of content. So again, get signed up for the class or just drop me an email. Hopefully I'll see you here this evening.